Good morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for this Monday, April 11th. Starting off as we normally do with a look at precipitation over the past week. On the left are the actual amounts. Quite spotty here across Utah and much of the northern areas. It's been our southern areas, southern and western Nevada into far southern Utah and parts of the Arizona Strip. It had some of these dark blue and green values. If you look on the right-hand side, that's anywhere from a half inch to over an inch of rain. On the right-hand side, you can see how that compares to normal, quite a bit below normal across the northern half of Utah, getting up into Idaho, wetter further to the south and southwest. Taking a look at the upper level map with satellite imagery of the infrared superimposed, you can see we have a trough of low pressure developing near San Diego. That's starting to gather some moisture. You can see that in some of those white enhanced clouds. And further off to the west and north, a deeper storm system coming out of the Gulf of Alaska. Both of these will play a major role in a cooler, wetter weather pattern for much of the upcoming part of the week. Taking a look at our dispersion or ventilation index, which takes into account both horizontal and vertical dispersion, you can see quite good here across Utah. Areas in the white are the best. As you get down into the areas of yellow and red, dispersion or ventilation gets progressively worse. So the worst areas would be across parts of northern and central Nevada, best areas across parts of Idaho and much of Utah, down into the Arizona Strip and into the southern portions of Nevada. If we break it down into the individual components of that ventilation, horizontally, that's transport winds, and you can see quite good out of the south this afternoon coming into parts of Utah and also parts of Idaho. Much lighter winds across parts of northern and central Nevada. And on the right-hand side, we see, again, pretty good vertical mixing here with these orange shades, 6,000 to 8,000 feet above ground level across Utah. Lower amounts, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 feet across parts of Nevada. Good vertical mixing up in Idaho for the most part. Now if we look at tomorrow, on the left actually is the upper level map with mid-level humidity. You can see high pressure ridge is gradually pushing off to the east. We will be increasingly under the influence of this big developing low pressure area coming out of the Gulf of Alaska. Clouds will start to increase across the northern portion of the Great Basin, large scale wind flow primarily from the southwest, and it will start to increase. And on the right-hand side, dispersion, still best across Utah and parts of Idaho, a bit lower across portions of Nevada, most likely due to the cloud cover limiting some of that vertical mixing and perhaps also some lighter winds. We'll break it down to the individual components on the left, and we have lighter transport flow across northern Nevada, slightly better across Utah and Idaho. Vertical mixing, again, much better across Utah, as well as into Idaho, a little bit lower across Nevada. Taking a look at Wednesday afternoon on the left, there's that storm system intensifying as it starts approaching the Pacific Northwest coast. The darkest shade of green is probably where steady precipitation will be occurring, drier bit to the south, but large-scale southwest winds will start increasing, and as low pressure comes in, also we will get better overall vertical dispersion as the atmosphere becomes more unstable. We see that on the left-hand side. Much more of Nevada is in that white, excellent dispersion category, as is Utah and most of Idaho as well. And if we break that down into its individual components, as we go on the left-hand side across Nevada, you can see winds across northern Nevada much stronger out of the southwest at the transport level than they were in previous days. Actually a little bit lighter across Utah. Those strong winds extend up into Idaho as well, and decent winds across the Arizona Strip. But what's favoring dispersion in Utah is, of course, again, the better daytime heating, which generates better vertical mixing. These oranges are about 5,000 to 7,000 feet above ground level. These yellows you see out here across Nevada are about 3,000 to 4,000 feet, which is better than what they had previously. Good to excellent vertical dispersion with mixing heights quite high in Idaho as well. Now if we look specifically more at Utah with the clearing index this Monday afternoon, you can see as we go from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, conditions improve significantly by Wednesday with the color code on the top part of the screen. You can see the purplish and bluish colors are lower clearing indices. The orange to reds are the better ones. You can see as that low pressure approaches, much better dispersion across Utah as a whole. Now, in terms of precipitation over the next 3 days, this is basically Monday through about actually Thursday morning, we do see that close to an inch of rain across parts of Nevada and maybe an inch and a half in far northern Utah into parts of southern Idaho. So we should see more showers coming in as southwest flow brings in some more subtropical moisture to our region. As we go into later in the week, Thursday afternoon, there's that low pressure system moves inland over the northern Great Basin with lots of clouds and probably lots of showers as well, especially across portions of Nevada and entering parts of western Utah. Look at that clearing index, everything in the white. Excellent ventilation index. And as we go towards Friday afternoon, we can see that low pressure actually digs down now into the southern portion of the Great Basin and actually closes off over northern Arizona. And on the right-hand side, again, excellent ventilation. You can see these wind barbs, large-scale winds, become more northerly across Nevada, Utah, and even more northwesterly across portions of Idaho. So we go into Saturday. We see that low pressure area just meandering back northwards, rotating a lot of deep moisture back across Utah and parts of southern or extreme southeastern Idaho. So there should be continuous precipitation through there, and of course, because we are in the vicinity of low pressure on the right-hand side, ventilation index, overall mixing remains excellent, everything in the white, transport flow mainly northeasterly to northerly across the region. And in terms of rainfall from Thursday morning through Saturday morning, again, we said this is going to be a wet period towards the end of the week, and can see the heaviest amounts across northern Utah, over an inch in some areas. Still left over quarter to half-inch amounts across at least the eastern part of Nevada. Far southern and southwestern areas stay fairly dry. And looking a bit further down the road, that lingering storm system, Saturday morning to next Tuesday morning, still wraparound precipitation continuing across the eastern third or eastern half of Utah with another quarter to a half-inch and some locally higher amounts in some areas. So this will be a good wet period for much of Utah. So we go through the latter part of the 7-day period. Now I'll look beyond that into days 8 to 14. Looks like we'll be getting into a warming and drying trend. We expect high pressure to build in. The end result on the left, temperatures much above normal. It means plenty of sunshine. And of course, with that and the absence of low pressure, we'll have much drier than normal conditions. So we'll see if this precipitation that we get over the next 7 days is our last shot of the winter or spring, or whether there'll be some more beyond it. This concludes our briefing. Have a safe day. Our next briefing will be this coming Wednesday.